Jay Miller Podcast is a podcast where we come together and discuss issues that affect black males, especially in the United States of America. The Jay Miller Podcast is a podcast where we look out for the best interest of black men. So before I get any further into this podcast, I want to go ahead and give a special shout out to all the black males supporting the Jay Miller Podcast with your funds. It's very much appreciated up on my part, all right? So I figure I'll go ahead and talk about this whole situation involving Tiffany Jolene. All right. Now, I have been going back and forth trying to, convince myself, should I go ahead and talk about this situation? But you know what? I felt that finally I'm going to go ahead and speak up and give my thoughts about the whole Tiffany Jolene situation. All right. And from what I have gathered, pretty much the whole Tiffany Jolene situation and her being exposed pretty much proved black men right about some black women. All right. Also, I want to use this example of Tiffany Jolene to tell black men these are the type of white women that you should avoid dating. Okay. Now, as we all know, Tiffany Jolene pretty much made a viral post, I believe, upon her Facebook page, pretty much using some choice words to throw black men up under the bus. Come to find out that the post that she used actually came from a black woman. All right. Not surprised, but it came from a black woman. Now, many black women basically saw the post and were in much agreement with Tiffany Jolene, pretty much taking the side of the white lady. All right. And basically joining in on teaming up on black men. Now, what's funny about the whole situation with the Tiffany Jolene situation is that you have a lot of black women out here, not all, but you do have enough who openly display their disdain, or some just flat out come out and say it that they just hate white women. All right. And basically the exact same women who display these negative feelings about white women were so fast to jump up on this white women's team to destroy and talk about black men. This is what the ironic thing about it is. Now, you have a lot of people out here, including other black males, simping, okay, joining in basically and siding with this white lady to basically trash talk black men. You have some women who are YouTubers who have used this whole Tiffany Jolene situation to help jump up on the bandwagon to help destroy the black man's image. Many of them claiming that, you know what, white people are the devil, et cetera, et cetera. But yet and still, you still took it upon yourself to go after black men by teaming up with this white lady that you claim to hate so much. Okay. Now, it has come out that basically this woman didn't make this up at all by herself. These were words that actually came from a black woman, and many black men pretty much suspected that. But what's crazy about it is that it tells you a lot about how some black women really feel about black men. All right. Let's just be honest here. Okay. It's crazy that she can use a black woman's words. Okay. Because these were a black woman's words. Take it upon herself to switch up just a little bit of things. Okay. And basically put it up out there. And this has become a viral post. From what I understand, this girl has even received a book deal from this post. Now, let's be honest here. You have a lot of black women that, put out these type of posts all the time. Never goes viral like this. But of course, when a white woman says the exact same thing, it's going to have a different effect upon especially the masses. OK, that here you have had known news groups that have posted the article upon their websites. OK, this has went farther than just gossip or, just some of the, local blogs, that a lot of black women have about here. All right. This basically has gotten into the hands of white people. All right. And, once again, I have basically stated this, that, I've seen this, that you have black women out here that have teamed up with racist white people to destroy the black male's image. OK, I mean, let's be honest. This girl basically used black women's own words to somewhat become lightly famous behind it. And so far, from what I understand, I've seen the posts where, you've had black women basically expose her. But yet and still, this what basically shows you how some black women get down. Now, when I first came up on YouTube in 2009, I used to stick up for black women a lot. All right. When the whole gender war really was first popping off, which has been going up on YouTube for quite some time. But I used to find it kind of appalling that you had a lot of black men just going super ham up on black women. Now, that's not to go ahead and say that some of the things that they talk about isn't true. You know what I'm saying? But I think that some dudes were just basically doing it for shock value and also to get up under black women's skin. Okay. Now, I noticed this and this type of behavior from certain black women that as long as you are, going along with the get along, they're okay with that. But the minute that you have a critique, these exact same black women that, basically are, cheering you on or, they have your back, all of a sudden you're a good man, yada, yada, yada. The minute you have a critique, these exact same black women would stab you in the back. Now, I personally have experienced this several times upon YouTube. After a while, I said enough is enough, okay? I've stuck up for black women multiple times, only for the minute that they have a disagreement with you, you a no good Negro, they'll get very disrespectful, disrespect you up online, call you all types of names, and then all of a sudden, they're not subscribed to you anymore. I know other black male YouTubers who have had to stop making a defense for black women when they are attacked because the minute that exact same person who is sticking up for them has a small critique, they'll start with the name calling, disrespecting that black man. So I know several YouTubers who have basically given up on even trying to speak on behalf of black women because of their lack of appreciation and respect for a lot of the black males who oftentimes put their neck up out there only to be disrespected. This is an issue that goes up in the black community a lot of times, and many black men have become fed up and they pack their bags and they leave to find love elsewhere. This is just facts right here that cannot be disputed. This whole situation right here pretty much proves that black women don't really hate white women like that. All right. A lot of times when they're over there calling them evil cave beasts, evil caucasoids and all this type of stuff, it's all a freaking sham. OK, because the exact same women who give them these terrible names talk about how, they wish that they were like us, all this beefing with white women and them talking about, black men, kissing up to them and all this type of stuff is a bunch of baloney. You know what I'm saying? Because these exact same women will and have teamed up with them to go against the very men that I guess they claim that they really love and care about so much. Okay. They will team up with the exact same people that they call evil, can't be trusted, evil Caucasoid devils. I mean, cave beasts, demons, all this type of nonsense. You'll team up with the exact same person that you have supposedly these ill feelings with to attack your own people. You cannot make this up. Okay. So no, I don't believe that black women hate white women like that. I don't believe that you guys really think that they're, people who just cannot be trusted and, they're these evil cave demons, et cetera, because, oftentimes these exact same people are your partners when they are willing to participate in the exact same buffoonery that you participate in when it comes down to attacking black men. Now, mind you, this woman, Tiffany Jolene, okay, she is married to a black man, but it basically sit here and shows you that, when a white person is willing to participate and, basically take a lot of black women's talking points and, make posts basically to troll black people or troll black men, it basically sit here and shows you that these exact same women who claim to hate white women, these cave demon Beckys, et cetera, you're willing to jump up on their side to attack black men. Not only are you willing to jump on their side, I've also seen it, and this cannot be disputed also, that a lot of times black women will team up with racist, white supremacist men to attack black men. Also, I've seen the comments, I've seen the videos, and I've heard it out of my own ears. This cannot be disputed. Now, you know what? You may have black men up out here trolling black women who are in interracial relationships at times. And you know what, though? They get up on camera and say some things that are not right. I don't believe that personally anybody who is in an interracial relationship should be using that interracial relationship as ammunition to attack the opposite gender that comes from your group. All right. But, when it comes down to black women, a lot of times I can't take a lot of them serious because, yeah, a lot of them go ham upon white women, et cetera, et cetera. But oftentimes you will see pictures of them hugged up cheek to cheek with these exact same white women that they claim to be people that cannot be trusted. They're cave demons. I mean, you guys know exactly all the names that are put up out here when it comes down to black women describing white women that they claim to hate. What's even more sad about it is that many of the black women who jumped up on the bandwagon supporting Tiffany Jolene, okay, now that this evidence has been exposed that basically she played y'all, a lot of them have nothing to say. They have no retraction videos at all, which basically tells you a lot about how they feel about black men, okay? They didn't care if it was true or false. As long as they had ammunition to throw your behind up under the bus, that's all that matters. Even though that evidence has basically been put up out here, black women basically exposing this woman to be a fraud, and that's basically she just used a lot of y'all words to make this hit piece to become semi-famous. It didn't matter. As long as she was trashing black men, y'all were okay with that. And a lot of the exact same ones who put videos up out there, some of the ones that have made blogs, y'all just totally silent. It just sits here and shows you and exposes a lot of the buffoonery that goes upon in the black community involving black men and black women. This is why I tell black men to keep your options open, because that's one thing that black men have is options. And I do believe that if you're not wanted one place, then you go another place where you are wanted. But if you are a black man, which I understand, who truly love black women, and that is what you're attracted to, and that's what you want, then you do what you got to do. But please make sure that you pick the right one. Just don't sit here and pick any type of old woman, because one thing I noticed is that some of these black women that are complaining and trash talking black men, they're married. So that basically kind of tells me that, you know what, I just happen to think in my head that, and I could be just, assuming things, but I have to assume that their husband has to be some type of simp, that he would allow his, black wife to be ranting up online and talking trash about black men, knowing that black men go through so much struggles and problems already up in the United States of America as it is. How can you be a stand-up black man and listen to your wife do this to other black men up online and have no problem with it? All right. You have to question this type of stuff, because if I was married to a black woman, I would not want my wife up online trash talking black men like a lot of these women be doing. This is just facts right here. Now, I'm not here up on this podcast to tell anybody, black women or black men, who they should and should not be with. That is up to you as an individual. But one thing I will tell black men is that Tiffany Jolene is the type of white woman that you need to avoid, all right? No black man should be with a white woman who is willing to participate and put out negative stereotypes against black men, okay? Some black men who date and marry some white women, you have to understand that there are some white women that truly do not like black women. Some of them are truly not even fans of black people, but may have found you to be an exception to the rule, okay? And have decided that, because maybe you're attractive or because they want to go ahead and prove something, that they will go ahead and lay down and even take it as far as having a child with you. So when it comes down to white people and even white women, they are not oblivious to the fact that the things that black men especially have to go through. You have to understand that a lot of these women have been raised around a lot of white men, so they hear the things and the negative racist things that many white people have stated and said, especially about black men. So for some white women to date a black man, marry a black man, even taking it as far as to have children with a black man, then gets up online and promotes these type of negative stereotypes about black men, okay, tells you a lot about that white woman. Let's just be honest here, okay? Sometimes you have some black men who do end up dating and marrying some questionable white people. Let's just be honest here. And that goes up on both sides. So I can't go ahead and deny and act like that is not true. So with this whole Tiffany Jolene situation, this should be a prime example for black men to notice what type of white women that you should not be with at all. Ones that you definitely should avoid. If you're dating a white woman and she displays some questionable behavior, especially in regards to black people, then you should not continue to be with that person. Because let's be honest here, some black men are willing to put up with a little bit more from white women than y'all would be willing to put up with when it comes down to black women. But basically, like I stated, this whole situation with Tiffany Jolene, being exposed, it pretty much proved black men right about, some black women. Some black women are not out to look for the best interest of black men. Okay. When it comes down to black men, unfortunately, yes, you have some of them out here that do troll black women with white women, but I don't see a lot of videos and a lot of comments of black men trying to team up with racist white people in order to take down black women. So when it comes down to this whole situation, so far I've only seen one video of a black woman basically checking other black women and telling them that they basically up out of line for what they did, and basically you have to go ahead and take an L because a lot of black women are very quiet about the whole Tiffany Jolene being exposed as a fraud and how she used many of black women's tactics to go ahead and troll black men, the same exact black men that she's also married to. And it basically shows that
beloved. So I'm gonna give a little backstory because most of y'all know, I believe, what this topic is about. You may not have the further details, the future details, but I will provide those. Okay, so let's talk about it. Hold on for a second. I want to make sure this is muted so I can see lovely people. Hey, Evie. Hey, Layla. Lola Rose. Naturally Free. Miss Danielle. What's going on, Tex? It's your crazy self. So, hey, Angel. How my beloveds? So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a backstory. The story is unfurling right now as we speak, but I couldn't.
black women really do not hate white women like that. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, you will become teammates with the exact same white women that you complain about, that you trash talk and say that they want to be like you, et cetera, if it comes down to throwing black men up under the bus. So this is a very sad, prime example of one of the things that I keep saying up on this channel, that when it comes down to black men, you cannot win for losing. It will always be a catch-22. Okay, we have to deal with outsiders of the community trashing and trying to attack black men, also as well as insiders within the black community trashing black men, throwing us up under the bus. We're no good, basically participating in teaming up with questionable white people and teaming up oftentimes with racist white supremacists to attack black men. I cannot make this type of stuff up. So that's just my thoughts upon this whole situation. You know what I mean? Basically, black men, you basically proved your point when it comes down to some black women. And this is the reason why many are very quiet about this, because many of them have participated in using Tiffany Jolene to attack black men. But now that it's been outed that she is a fraud, many of them are feeling very stupid. And of course, their pride gets up in the way. So they're not going to go ahead and talk about it. They're not going to go ahead and retract. They're going to go ahead and just let it be the way it is, because as long as they have anybody that is trashing black men, they're going to use it as ammunition to throw it up in black men's face. And it basically proved that they don't care if it's true or false, as long as it fits their narrative. Okay, so that's just my thoughts for today. If you guys haven't, please consider supporting the Jay Miller podcast through Patreon. All right, if you'd like to become a Patreon, you could do so for whatever amount that you would like. If you don't like Patreon, you can consider becoming a monthly donator through PayPal. If not, then you can also consider making a one-time donation through PayPal. If very least you can't do that, then please consider sharing the Jay Miller podcast upon your social media platforms. All right. And if you guys are not a part of the notification squad, what exactly are you waiting for? You should be subscribed, and you should be hitting the notification bell icon. That way you do not miss out on any of the Jay Miller podcast uploads to YouTube. So that's just my thoughts. You guys leave your feedback up in the comment section, gentlemen. Until next time, notice, black men, this, that no one is going to look out for your best interest. All right. This is the reason why black men have to learn to get along. start respecting each other a lot.
About a month ago, probably one of the first videos that I did on my Tyrion Rain live channel, or well, after my main channel got taken down, I spoke about this white woman by the name of Tiffany Jolene, and how she posted up this, or made this post on Facebook that went viral, basically talking about that she didn't want a certain type of black man, or she didn't want the dusty Negro, and that she's tired of black men constantly entering her DMs and whatnot. And then to which I made a video in response to that and saying, don't trust Tiffany Jolene. As a matter of fact, that was actually the title of the video. It said, don't trust Tiffany Jolene. And then in that video, I went through on her thread and looked to see what people were saying and from who. And of course, it was mostly black women who were championing and rallying behind what this white woman had said. They don't know this white woman from a can of paint, but they saw that she was bashing black men, and that was good enough for them. And throughout all of that, I was just like sitting there in utter disappointment and disgust just reading those comments. Now, this does not pertain to every single black woman, because when I made that video and looked at the comments, I did have some of those black men hating women coming up into my comments, and then I had some sensible ones like my subscribers who were shutting them down. And to that, I thank you. Well, some new stuff has come out, and I have to give a shout out to Water Sniper, because that's how I found out about this, because I didn't know, and Google wasn't going to tell me about it either, because nothing came up either, except for the viral post that went into the New York Post. Turns out that particular post that she posted on her page was not an original thought whatsoever. The entire post was not an original thought, much like when it comes to the caucus thing, both man and woman. The post that she made that went viral belonged to that of a black woman. Now, I didn't catch the black woman's name. As a matter of fact, while I'm doing this video, I have to give a shout out to China Fox, because she did a very excellent video pertaining to this right here. It was about 45 minutes long. I think she did it in the form of a live stream, and I was able to watch it. And she really did a good job. What I'll do is I'll find the link to her video and I'll post it in the description along with my other links so you can go see it for yourself. So this woman decided to take a post that was originally made by a black woman, change up a certain few words to take out certain things to throw off the scent that it came from a black woman, and then rearrange it to make it seem like it was her thought. To add insult to injury, not only did her viral post get into the New York Post, which we already know, but it's also landed this chick a goddamn book deal. When I found that out, I said, that's what really set me back. Like, hold on. It wasn't even her that made that post go viral. It was other black women, unfortunately, who did help this post go viral. So to all the black women that was in the comment section saying, yes, and you're invited to the cookout and this, that, and the third, you should be ashamed of yourself and utterly embarrassed, because you just gave this white bitch a pedestal that she doesn't deserve, a platform that she's unworthy of. And the reason why I said China Fox did an excellent piece on her, almost like an expose, if you really want to talk about it, because she breaks down and goes into great detail about the background of this chick named Tiffany Jolene, that if black women actually did their due diligence, who were championing and rallying behind her and invited to the cookout, they would have known not to rally behind this chick when she made that post. I want y'all to look at that video. Like, after you listen to my commentary, you go right over and click that link and you listen to what China had to say, because she went in on her in ways that I or probably anyone else could not do. And you had a lot of these black men hating YouTubers, and y'all know who some of them are, running and chasing behind the coattails of this chick. Don't know her from a can of paint, but because she spoke on a subject that they love the most, which is to downgrade and bash black men, it was okay, it was fine. That shows right there that they love mediocrity when it comes to throwing negativity towards us. These are the same women who say they don't need a man for this, that, and the third, but be the first one to say they need a black man to protect them. They're the first one to say, oh, niggas ain't shit. No, bitch, you ain't shit. You off cold skank. And this little rant that I'm going on right now is not directed to every black woman. The ones who are deserving of what I'm saying right now, they know exactly who they are. When I saw that comment section, I was literally disgusted, but in some fraction in the back of my mind, I wasn't so surprised. This is literally what brainwashing has gotten into, to the point where we have to hang off for the coattails of whatever a white person says just to spit into the face of our counterparts. Well, not so much counterparts, but, you know, people who look like us. And then I heard that she did a live stream or whatever. And when I saw her without the makeup, this bitch looked like Sinead O'Connor. What you're looking at right here is her with good lighting, makeup, and a filter. This isn't how she really looks without makeup, of course, clearly. Without makeup, she looks hideous. And you'll be able to see her picture in China Fox's video because she shows her picture in a screenshot. The bitch looked like she just woke up from a 1,000-year dirt nap. But that, like I said, the comments and rallying behind this white chick was very disappointing. I had told, and the proof was in the pudding. Like in my title, I said, do not trust Tiffany Jolene. And I had so many people coming in my comment section saying, well, what she said is indeed true. Well, she didn't even say anything. She copied it from another black woman. So she didn't have an original thought running through her head. She's probably with the same, excuse me, she's probably with the same type of black man that she had no problem bashing in her post. And while we're talking about DMs, why didn't any of you ask her to produce any of the DMs that she claims to have received? She probably knew some of you were too stupid to do it. And like a fool, she was right. Now, some people are going to say, why are you sitting there bashing black women? Why are you saying this? This is not me bashing you. This is me giving you a reality check. And the reality check is y'all took a big L. Most of you who followed behind what she said, or what should I say, what someone else said that she claims was hers.
You know, just so she can pander to black women. I want you black women to understand, these white women will pander to you today, but they will put you in your place and they will still try to get a black dude. They just don't want y'all to dislike them. They want y'all to be their friends. This is why you should stay away from white females who have a bunch of black friends and who act black themselves, because they become black women. They become black women. They become black women. She wants friends from y'all. Y'all need to stay as far away from this idiot as possible. Like, again, she's not wrong about the thirst of you black men, because a lot of you black men are super thirsty. Y'all in Facebook groups with a bunch of fat white women. She's not wrong about that. PSA for the black males in my friends list, and most importantly, popping up in my inbox, I'm not the Caucasian for you, baby. If your primary reason for dating white women is because you're under the self-centered delusion that they are more submissive and understanding of your inherent refusal to get your shit together without the help of a romantic partner, I'm not the Caucasian for you. Let's see. This is where she really went in. She said, if you fix your illiterate, unmanicured fingers to type anything in the ballpark of devaluing black women in order to make excuses for your trash character, I'm not the Caucasian for you. If you say things along the lines of, I just don't like black women, I can't get along with black women, white women are better partners, I'll drag you from untapered hairline to worn out shoelaces and proceed to embarrass the shit out of you before blocking you. If your timeline is run amok with white women.
Hello, gentlemen. Hope everybody's having a good evening. Just got back from the gym. Shout out to that brother Kid Organic. At the very moment when the story first broke, he told us, and I believed him wholeheartedly at the very moment I heard him say it. He told us that there was something about the alleged article from a person who uses the screen name of Tiffany Jolene that just did not seem authentic. And I believed him because when I went and read it, the wording and the syntax was off. The wording and the syntax was off. It was similar to the situation that we have many times as content creators on our channels when someone comes trolling as a white man, and you know that it's not a white man, it's a black woman, or when somebody comes trolling, period, and you just the syntax and everything, it just doesn't line up. Or you have sometimes white men coming trolling as black men. The syntax just doesn't line up. And that's what was fishy about this whole Tiffany Jolene thing. Now, not that we're trying to gloat, but hell, we told you so. We told you so. I knew that when this thing first broke, I knew that it wasn't authentic, and I knew that this was gonna blow up in these women's faces, and it did. It's verified everything that we've been saying about you on social media ever since YouTube started. Everything that Thug Titian said, everything that Rick Scorpio said, everything that Big B Kale said, everything that Black Ram said, everything that Bright Sun Dark One said. It's verifying everything that all of these brothers have been saying about you. Do you know how stupid and petty that this demographic must look right now? And the more momentum that this story gathers, and I don't want to let this story go away. I don't want this to be like a 72-hour thing that's trending and then all of a sudden it's gone after that 72 hours. No. I want this one to stick because it vindicates everything that these brothers have been saying about you. Number one is one thing that I told you brothers almost 3 years ago. I did not tell y'all that this group of women has a worshipful and sycophantic obsession with the Caucasian female. Didn't I tell you this? For God's sake, I can remember what I said on that classic gem of a video that I made. That this demographic of females devotes more space in their puny cerebrum to where they think about Caucasian females more than Caucasian men and black men combined. Did I not tell you that? Whatever this female does, they're fixated on. If they choose to date black men, they Caucasoid devils. If they wear some hoop earrings, they're culturally appropriating. If they take a photo shoot when it seems to be like a kind of a S&M based thing, you know, then and it seems like even remotely that a black woman in the video might be in a supplicating position. Well then she's a racist. This is not anything I'm making up. This everything I'm saying is easily verifiable and on full display in the media today. And so you have this woman who allegedly writes this article, you know, criticizing black men, talking about how black men are in inboxes and just saying a bunch of garbage. And where you would normally denigrate this type of woman, where you would normally denigrate Caucasian women, you talk about lifeless stringy hair, you talk about pale skin tone, and they smell like a dog, and just other sundry nonsense about these women, even though statistically most of you have no firsthand knowledge of these women. Most of you don't, especially the ones that come from inner city neighborhoods. The only brush that you might have had with Caucasian women are your teachers at school or police officers on the street. So what do you even know about Caucasian women to be talking about what they smell like? What do you know about them? Have you ever laid with one? How do you know this? But they go and repeat it online, no matter how silly it makes them look. And that truly is amusing. It amuses me to no end. So this woman says what allegedly says all of this stuff. You just taking and run with it. And you put so much light on this that this woman has a book deal just for a book deal just for writing one article on Facebook targeting black men. Now I know what's coming next. I know you'll have a lot of pro-blacks that are immediately going to try to find a false equivalent that black men have done. And so I'll cut you off at the pass and I'll bring up Veganator. Now, when Veganator came out, you know, with the thing with Karras and how he played the first thing to remember about Veganator is what I told you about him. He's a troll. Now, unlike some black people, I have firsthand knowledge of white people. I went to school with them. I've been on sports teams with them. So I've been around them. And one thing that I tried to tell you about Veganator is that he's a troll. He's a prankster. He's a trickster. This is what they like doing. They like Caucasian people, especially men, are very, very, very fond of long form pranks. They like the pleasure of feeling like they're on the know about something that somebody else doesn't know about, and then they get even more glee off of the reaction that the person has, you know, once the prank is discovered or once the end goal of the prank is met. That's what I try to tell you about him, and lo and behold. But the key thing, while some black men was, you know, sleep to the game enough to like hold this dude up like he was a savior or something, the key thing that I told you about Veganator is that even if he reverses himself, it still vindicates everything that we've been saying about this group of women, even if he reverses himself. I said that even if he marries one of them, or if he does 8 hours of streaming porn with groups of them every single day, different groups of them every single day, and is face down in it every single day, he is still giving living, breathing proof to everything we said. And that was the stance of many a brother. A lot of brothers were just sitting back like this, just waiting to see how it played out. So you can't really tag the whole vegaнаted thing as some type of false equivalency, because it's not. But this Tiffany Jolene thing should come as no surprise. I call this the birth of a nation syndrome. That's what I call this. If you don't know, for those of you that might not know, I'm not referring to the Nate Parker, the stunningly fabulous Nate Parker film, Birth of a Nation. No, I'm referring to the original Birth of a Nation, the original. And for all you brothers that hold any patriotic sentiments, I just want you to know this. This film that I'm referring to, The Birth of a Nation, was the original feature-length film. That was the first feature-length film, because most movies, most silent movies before then, before they came out with the so-called talkies, the format that we know as a movie today, silent movies weren't very long, 20, 30 minutes. The Birth of a Nation was the very first feature-length film. Now, in The Birth of a Nation, it depicted Black men as being ruthless, sexually aggressive, savage, and violent to no end. It basically depicted Black men as a marauding gang. From a little boy all the way up to the oldest man. That Black men were just one big giant rabid pack of savage animals that just came to rape and pillage the countryside. And what was kind of silly about it is that in the South, you still have laws on the books, despite Reconstruction. You still have laws in the books to where Black men couldn't even ride or own horses. Kind of the same thing under slavery. But people, nonetheless, when the movie came out, people believed it. And a lot of people co-signed to The Birth of a Nation. And so here you see later in the history of these United States, the Birth of a Nation reflex, or the Birth of a Nation syndrome, is reflexively felt in the news media. Have you ever realized that a lot of times when you see something about a robbery that was supposed to have taken place, or some type of act of vandalism or theft, you ever notice that when when the suspects are Black, they will make sure that they release video, pictures, a composite sketch, something to let you know that they are Black. But on the flip side, when the suspect that hasn't been caught yet is a white person, they just say, well, they're looking for suspects. They won't show you anything. And even when they do finally arrest said white person, a lot of times they'll use their like a high school sports picture or something rather than the mugshot. But I digress. So the top sufferers of Birth of a Nation syndrome, that is the reflexive response to try to depict Black men in that manner, in the aforementioned manner, above all costs and despite any type of exculpatory evidence. More so than Caucasian men doing it, I think we all know the other demographic that does it the most, because this is the same demographic that came directly out of the civil rights era and then marched aside white women talking about how oppressed they were. This is the same demographic that subscribed to feminism. This is the same demographic that popularized The Color Purple. And if you ask me, Color Purple was Birth of a Nation Part 2, because black men were depicted in The Color Purple basically the same way that they were depicted in the original Birth of a Nation. They were. There's no denying it. They were. When you look at Mister and you look at the rest of them, they were depicted in the same manner. It was just Birth of a Nation in drag. It is what it is. So when you see hit pieces like what was supposedly authored by Tiffany Jolene, were really authored by one of her friends from said demographic, when you see things like the article by the brother Damon Young, by the black man Damon Young, when you see hit pieces calling black men terrorists, this is nothing but an extension of the same old game that has been around ever since the formation of this country. There have been many propaganda hit pieces on black men going hundreds of years back. Hell, I even had a brother at the gym tell me that was a historian at an armed forces museum. He told me that in World War I, when black men were sent over to the European theater of war, and that they wouldn't even, the army was segregated back then. So the French said, well, you know what? We don't care what color the men are. We need some damn men. And so many American men were actually allowed to be inducted into the French armed forces, given French blue uniforms, given the helmet with the weird crest thing in the middle, given French weapons, and fought the Germans under a French flag. And he said that when these men were quartered in Paris, that the U.S. Department of War, now the U.S. Department of Defense, actually released pamphlets saying that black men were animals, and that they had at night, the fangs would come out, that they actually had venom sacs inside of their head, and they showed pictures of them with tails and everything to say like we were another type of human. And the French told them to cease and desist with it, and they thought that it was utterly ridiculous, and they thought that it was really naive for American people to think that French people were bad at, when the French actually had colonies in Africa and had, colonies over here in the New World. They knew what black people were. So how are you going to try to convince them of this? But this is how irrational American society is when it comes to their positions towards black men, is that they will stop at no cost to try to negatively propagandize black men, even if it makes them look completely and utterly stupid. And this latest thing, this Tiffany Jolene thing, is nothing but a continuity of America's position towards black men ever since the very foundation of this country, and ever since the colonial days. This has been a Red Pill PSA.
Do y'all not know what colonizing means? Or what a colonizer is? That's basically what she did. She colonized that black woman's post. When you read her post, did you honestly think a white woman came up with that? Look at the words that she used. I wish my other channel was still up, and I would have left the link in the description so you can go back and listen to me read what she said. Does that sound like something that a white woman would have said? Like, if you really, really dissect it. And even when I showed proof that this chick was no good, I still had these idiots coming into my damn comment section saying, oh, it's still niggas ain't shit. That's no different than when you talk about the stuff that's going on in these white communities, and you got these white trolls coming in my comment section saying Chicago and black on black crime and 13% of the population, 50% of the crime. That's the same exact shit and the same exact talking point that they use. So now, not only are you running behind the coattails of this white chick, now you're running behind the coattails of white supremacists and their talking points. I can sit on here and talk about these coons and these coonettes and these buck dancing, tap dancing fools and racist bigots all day. But when I get into the subject about this, you're not going to tone police me. Come on here with that bullshit like you did in that other video, like you did, you're getting blocked instantly. Enough is fucking enough. This was some of the most pathetic shit in display of so-called womanhood I have ever seen. Y'all sitting up there inviting this bitch to a cookout that y'all ain't even gonna have. Like China said in her video, you said you inviting this chick to the cookout and she gonna take the whole damn grill with all the food, and you gonna be left with scraps. But hey, at least you got a white woman on your side, right? I guess that's all that means. I have really nothing left more to say about this. Like I said, I will leave the link to China's video in the description, along with the other links that pertain to myself. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.
You know, last